If you thought about upgrading from a condo to a landed, this video is for you. Alright, so hi there, this is Joshua Tan and welcome back to my video. Now in today's video, I'm going to share with you a real life case study of how I helped one of my clients move from condo to a landed. Okay, so maybe today, right, you are someone who, maybe your family, you're already sick of flipping homes, sick of moving home again, shifting all the things, or maybe even sick of wanting to manage multiple properties and changing tenants. You probably want to consolidate your property and what's next. So you explore the option of owning your very own landed space, where you have maybe a bit more functional space, more freedom, more privacy. With this being said, right, the Singapore landed market only has about 70,000+ landed homes, which means that supply is very scarce and highly sought after. The main question remains whether is it something suitable for you. So to help you to understand more, I'm going to break down my client's case study into 3 main parts. First will be my client's current position, second will be what they intended to do and the problems they faced along the way, and lastly will be how they have overcome those challenges and eventually arrived at their current new position of being in a landed, and not just in a landed but a landed with a generally wider frontage than their own unit type, near MRT and amenities. In fact, the landed property I found for them, right, was entered at about 800,000 below the bank's valuation. So how did we do that? Alright, so to start off, right, this is my client's initial position. They have 2 condos. One condo was a 3-bedder while the other condo was a smaller 1-bedder that is rented out. Because ABSD was implemented at the year 2013, and therefore the market narrative during that point in time was to actually sell one and buy 2, teaching people how to own 2 properties without paying ABSD. However, many families end up committing into one, a larger size, and then a smaller unit size like a 1-bedder. So this was what's going on. Now next, we'll talk about what my client wanted and then the problems that they faced. So what they wanted initially when they came to meet me during a consult, right, is not to actually move straight to a landed. They were thinking maybe, what should we do next? Should we buy another new launch? Should we actually sell and buy another property, or sell and split to how many properties, buy under who, and so on? But after long discussion, right, they found that actually they were quite tired of flipping because children have grown up, their work career have settled down. They want a bit more stability, not so much movement and hassle. Capital gain is nice for them, but they not just only want to go for like short-term capital gains flip, but rather they want something that they can stabilize as a family for the long term. They also want lesser liabilities and to park their 2 cars. So with this, right, we have derived after some time that what they wanted was a landed property. Now the goal was set very clearly to go from A to B, 2 condos to a landed property. However, the problem arose where property A, where is their bigger 3-bedder unit, is easier to sell in the market, while their property B, which is a smaller 1-bedder unit, is harder to sell. If you ask me why, simple terms, the property B is actually a scapegoat property. If you want to learn more about scapegoat property, I did a simple case study about this in my previous content. I'll link it somewhere in the description below. So how did we do? Because it's hard to dispose of their scapegoat property. Now after they sell the property A, they can actually already buy landed. But the problem was with the size of the landed, whether you want to settle for something less or settle for something bigger, wider, according to what they really want for their family needs. So end of the day, after calculation, right, long story short is that should they sell property A, they will make a capital gain of around 1 million. From there, they will have a total of cash proceeds and CPF of about 1.5 million. 1.5 million coupled with a 500k that they are willing to set aside to fork out in cash for this landed purchase, plus a loan amount of 1.7 million. The total quantum that they are looking to purchase stands at around 3.7 million. The problem is to meet their requirement, 3.7 million is still not enough. To look for the kind of landed property that they want and also make sense for their family is actually amounting to around 4.3 to 4.4 million. This means that there's a shortfall of about 600,000 plus minus that they have to find in order to buy that new landed property. On top of that, property B, the scapegoat property, unfortunately the pricing did not rise as much. It may make a pretty good choice for a perpetual rental property, but it doesn't serve as a good means of wealth building if you are looking at potentially getting a good upside upon sale. We even sought solutions to try term loan. Term loan is where, for example, you take 75% of the valuation minus your outstanding loan amount minus your CPF use, you get the balance amount. This balance amount is an amount that you could potentially take out as a term loan, but that property, it being a property that did not appreciate much in value, could not take a term loan. How? They were stuck. They can now only either go for a smaller property or wait until they sell the scapegoat property B, then only they can buy their desired landed. Then I came into the picture to tell them that, hey, this is one possible way that you can get the extra 600,000 plus minus cash flow that you need right now to finance your landed property. Lo and behold, when we actually go on this route, they are able to get the additional financing. And with this, today they are positioned themselves in the new landed property at their budget of 4.3 to 4.4 million, and with the specifications of a wider frontage, near MRT, near amenities, and it is near a good school. If you want to find out how to do this funding method, right, you can WhatsApp or call me at my number here. Okay, but what's the point of this whole story? The thing is, if let's say you are indeed a condo owner and you feel the same way as well, and you are indeed thinking of the possibility of moving to a landed, or maybe you don't know what to buy, okay, I hope this story has actually helped you understand on hindsight what can actually be achieved from your current position.